I think I'm just giving up. I think I've just given up, to be honest. On Stephanie White. I think I might have just given up on the Fever. I don't know. I think it's just it's a crazy situation. I think I might have just I think it might be time to just say, you know what, let's just write off this season. It feels like there's a complete disconnect in answers. Like if you're looking at media availability, I think there's just complete disconnected answers. But at the end of the day, like it's just, it seems like there is some sort of conflict. And by the way, this isn't saying these players hate each other. This isn't like some off the court locker room issues. There are stylistic basketball issues in the locker room. And I stand by this. I still think there are people on this team that stand with DeWanna Bonner. I think there are people on this team that were pro DeWanna Bonner staying. And I think this just literally, this is just a match made in hell. And by the way, it's a match made in hell for Stephanie White as well. Because Stephanie White's, literally, her reputation has just died. Her reputation is just gone. Her reputation's gone to shit in no time. Like, it's been a match made in hell for her as well. Her reputation, she rebuilt her reputation with the Connecticut Sun after a horrendous stint at Vanderbilt. But that reputation's going again. But, like, obviously at practice, you're hearing from Sophie Cunningham, mainly talking about Caitlin. And she kind of says the opposite almost to Stephanie White.
So I think we're all pros, so you just got to act like a pro, and that's part of being a pro.
How does Caitlin specifically, do you think, handle that?
I have no idea. You got to ask her. That girl's brain is different, so that's all on you. Hurt, and our offense was clicking, but now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game, and so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now. We know what the potential of this team can be, but we can't think about that. You really have to take day to day, and stuff that worked here, we need to carry it over to tomorrow's game. We have a lot of games coming up, and I think like 7 days.
But like literally, Sophie Cunningham coming out there and basically saying, we need to. I mean, our offense is clicking without Caitlin, but we need to adjust because of what Caitlin brings. And then you've got Stephanie White here.
To see that through some of our games where it's, okay, now we knew exactly where our teammate was going to be. We knew exactly.
Like, where I want to see if I can get the actual clip of it here in a better volume.
The balance of trying to build continuity, but also realizing, I think Sophie said it, like, we don't have like a bunch of games left.
Yeah.
We do have to have that sense of urgency.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a sense of urgency, but you also, it's not something that happens just because we want it to, right? It's got to be organic. It's got to be something that is built in practice when we're going through offense, when we're going through defense. Just because you say you want it doesn't mean that it happens. And I think you started to see that through some of our games where it's, okay, now we knew exactly where our teammate was going to be. We knew exactly that they had our back. We were able to play with.
We knew exactly that they had our back. That's a wild thing to say. That's a wild thing to say, Stephanie. That's a wild thing to say.
With multiple levels of intentional effort, and now when you reintegrate more players back into the lineup, it's trying to figure that out again. And there's no substitute for that other than reps together.
Sophie used the word pissed off to describe.
Like, we have to try figure it out again. Talking about, we have to try figure it out. Could you imagine if Pep Guardiola said, you know, it's really hard. We have to try reintegrate Messi. Could you imagine if Phil Jackson came in being like, we have to try reintegrate, we're having to try reintegrate Luka into what we do. What Sophie Cunningham said is right. There is a thing about changing up how they play while Caitlin Clark is on the floor. But let's be real, it is the job of the team to adjust to the best player, not the opposite way around. If you have a ball-dominant star who has given your franchise the most success, and by the way, if you want to say, oh, they won the Commissioner's Cup without her, they beat a Lynx team who couldn't make an open shot without her. They beat a Mystics team who are okay. They beat a Sky team who suck without her. And they beat the biggest win was against the Liberty, who, by the way, no John Quell, no Phoebish, but they don't win it without her 32 points. They don't win it without her. 25 first half points and they're still only up single digits. Like, they don't win that game without her. So at the end of the day, like, she was a major reason for that. And I can't believe the way she's talking about it as, like, you know, she is Ricky Day, or sorry, Darius Miles. I mean, about LeBron James, this high school kid's he's just gonna jump in on what we're doing. He's just gonna come in and help us in what we're doing. Hell no, you build around the high school kid. And that's the problem from day one. From day one, Stephanie White's goal has been to mold Caitlin Clark into, I don't know. I actually don't know what her end goal is for Caitlin Clark. Because she's not Steph Curry. Because of just the way she releases the ball, she's never going to be a great shooter going right. She needs to get better at that. That is a big improvement. And I do think we saw it in preseason. She has improved on going right. I don't think she's good at it. I don't think she's confident going right. I think she has the ability to do it, but I think it's a confidence issue more than anything. But at the same time, like, it is on, like, if she's weak at going right, the season has already started. You don't play to your best player's weaknesses. You play to your best player's strengths. You play to your best player's strengths. Like, could you imagine if Man City, who have Erling Haaland, who is a flawed but spectacular player, when they won the treble, if they told Erling Haaland that his job is to, you know, you're a poacher, but we actually think you're weak in the build-up play, so we're going to force you into build-up play and you're going to look shit. Like, could you imagine if they told Aja Wilson, you know, you're not great at shooting the three ball, so your job is to shoot 17 threes a game? Could you imagine if the Chicago Sky said, we're no longer going for offensive rebounds, we're a transition defensive team. So Angel, don't do what you're best at in offensive rebounding. Run straight back on defense every single time. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if a coach told... I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, like, what players even the WNBA. If coach told Sabrina to stop shooting. Not even to stop shooting. Sabrina to become a screener. And again, Sabrina's a different player than Clark. Caitlin Clark is more of a... Caitlin Clark's much better passer than she's a shooter. She's a much better point guard. Like, Caitlin Clark is a good shooter, and her range... It's not that she's an exceptional three-point shooter in general. It's that she's exceptional from range. And she's an exceptional shot-creating three-point shooter. She's an exceptional unassisted three-point shooter. And what that means is that you have to guard her further. And because she commands defensive help from further, she frees up everything. Defensive coverage from further, she frees up everything for teammates, and which has her best asset, which is her passing and her ability to create the space and make the pass. But Stephanie White is trying to take away her best assets and turn her into something that she's not and will never be as a player. And maybe she will be that as a player, but like, what is the best case scenario? She's going to be at best a league average defender. I think she's a league average defender right now. At best, a slightly above average defender. I think at best she's going to be a slightly above average off-screen curling shooter, especially because she can really do well going left. Isn't the greatest at it going right. At best, she becomes an average shooter at that. So what is the like peak of what Stephanie White wants to turn Caitlin Clark into? Like a worse Kayla McBride? I'm not joking. Is that what Stephanie White is? That is the peak of what Stephanie White wants to turn Caitlin Clark into? Is a worse Kayla McBride? And I'm sorry, everyone says this about Klay Thompson. He's the most plug and play superstar ever. KD is a plug and play superstar when he was playing like he is in the Warriors. Steph is not a plug and play superstar. You build your system around Steph Curry's strengths. But apparently Stephanie White is bought into the media saying she's the female Steph Curry. And instead of building up into her strengths, has decided to try to turn her into a brand new player to fit. I'm not even joking. Aaliyah Boston doesn't even look good in this system. Kelsey Mitchell doesn't look good in this system. Kelsey Mitchell looked better in the Caitlin Clark system last year. It literally seems to be to appease Natasha Howard and previously Dewana Bonner, who's not even there anymore. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.